The sanctions that President Trump had in place were incredibly successful. They had dissent inside of Iran, and then Iran wasn't spreading, this discontent and chaos throughout the region. And so, what is President Biden going to do about sanctions against Iran?
All right, we have put on a bomb show and a big, expensive war toy show tonight for America. We did not do anything to stop the proxies nor Iran from attacking us, and at all. We're bombing a bunch of empty places because we purposely gave Iran 6 days, 5 to 6 days, to get out. And they're all out. All of the IRCG people left 2 days ago out of Syria. I think it was 2 days ago out of Syria and 5 days ago out of Iraq. And there is a nice chunk of the border with Syria that we have not had sealed off, and they're all allowed to get in and out. And so this whole thing is a disgrace and an embarrassment. Now, I'm honored that I found out our last caller who was nice enough to hold. And I want to hear from you, too, if you think we're doing enough, if you think these bombings will deter anything, if you think they're strong enough, or is this a weak walk backwards into war moment that continues with this president, as I believe. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Chime in right now at 800-288-9227. Nakona in Cedar Park, I want to thank you for holding, and you served honorably in the Navy, which I appreciate you very much for your service, brother. And you know exactly what a Phalanx CIWS is that was deployed on a Houthi missile that was 4 seconds, according to war analysts and a former director of, the director of the Missile Defense Project for Center at Strategic International Studies. It was concerning the Houthi missile got so close to the U.S. warship. If it's going at a pretty good clip, 1 mile translates to not long in terms of time. One analyst, former U.S. Navy captain, said the Houthi missile, traveling at about 600 miles an hour, was likely 4 seconds from hitting our United States warship when it was destroyed by, it was likely 2 to 3 second bursts of machine gun fire by the Gravely's Phalanx system. So, what do you think about this? What does this tell you? The fact that the Houthis just yesterday almost sunk one of our warships with one of their missiles. I mean, what does this tell you is going on? And secondarily, I want to ask you about the 9-hour battle that happened with a Navy warship as well in the Red Sea a month or two ago, I think, with 9 drones coming from the Houthis, the Iranian-made drones, a 9-hour battle. But go ahead with the first part about this Phalanx CIWS. What do you know about it, and what do you think that it was 1 mile away, 4 seconds from collision?
Yeah, Chris, the 1 mile away is actually even though 4 seconds is nothing to us, but actually the Sea Whiz, and it's called the Sea Whiz, that's what we would call it, also known as R2D2, because if you look at photos of it, they look just like R2D2,
Wow.
So that's what we call them. They'd have them on the fantail, they'd have them up on the sides, and depending on the type of ship, we used to go from different ones from a frigate to a destroyer to a aircraft carrier. They're all rigged with Phalanx systems, and they shoot about 4,500 rounds a minute.
Wow.
And it's amazing. It's just like a zoom, and it's crazy.
It's like the Israel's Iron Dome, where, have you ever seen that operate? It's beyond incredible. Like, you've got what looks like the Phalanx system to me, but it's not. Obviously, it's on the ground, and it's on a track, and it's probably like the Phalanx system, where it goes all 360 except for pointing at you, probably. But it goes and that's it.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, it's really, I mean, you can go on YouTube and see a lot of videos.
Yes.
And it's just amazing. I mean, it tilts back pretty far, and but like I said, the gunners mates that handle that, whenever they're testing, they have, of course, all kinds of drills the Navy does, so they're more than prepared. In 4 seconds, believe it or not, a mile away there's no way it's going to get to the ship. There's no way.
Okay.
The missile system is just amazing. And
but what about this though? Tell me something, because here's what they said. Every single one of our normal defense systems on this Navy destroyer, I think it was the USS Gravely, and it was a cruise missile that got as near as a mile to the ship, and everything on the defense system. I think there's several other defenses that those have, and that apparently they failed, and so the only hope was this Gatling gun system, this phalanx closing weapons system, and that was it. Otherwise, we would have had a destroyer sunk.
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility, I mean, it's made by a man, so there's a part there that the error could occur, but we train a lot, so
let me ask you this then. Sorry, go ahead. You said we don't.
No, go ahead.
Well, let me ask you this, because there's another warship. I want to say it's the USS Carney, I think, that was deployed in the Red Sea a month or two ago, and it was one of the first epic battles that the Biden administration really hid and kept it so it was like, it was just a few, like an hour, like a buzz go away, where 9 drones were attacking us. Or something, or 14 drones, or something like that, and it was a 9-hour battle. That's what it was, and the drones were attacking us, and it was apparently a really bad battle. Tell me this: I don't know if you ever worked with the Carney, but like how intense is it if you got all these drones, and reportedly it was a 9-hour battle? What does that tell you? Yeah, no, that's. I'm sure they were in battle stations. Probably for a good 24 hours. That means you're in your stations, prepared for, of course, the worst. Remember, anytime any ship, and I don't know if the Carney is a destroyer or a frigate. I believe it's a destroyer, from my memory. Okay. I'll double check it while we're talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, if it says DDG, it's a destroyer. So the thing about it is, anytime, when we were deployed out there,
it's DDG, USS Carney, DDG 64.
Yeah, it's a destroyer. So the thing about that is, anytime you have a battle group that gets sent out there, they're not alone. They've got frigates around. They've got subs in the area. They got, of course, you got a bird farm or aircraft carrier.
A bird farm. That's great.
Yeah, that's what we call them. And so they're well protected. You might hear that, it's the Carney, but I assure you the Carney was not alone.
What the heck is this with 9 hours, though? What does that tell you? Doesn't that tell you this was a serious battle, or is that normal to have to fight for 9 hours on like a third world country like Yemen as we were being attacked from drones and stuff? Tell me about that.
Well, I honestly think that it wasn't a fight for 9 hours because
that's fine.
It wouldn't have taken us 9 hours. I'll tell you that.
Right. Okay.
There's no way with all the weapon systems that the Navy has and all the missiles, the Tomahawks and things like that. I mean, they're decked out pretty well. But so what it is they're probably at battle stations for more than 10 hours, 9 hours, whatever. And so at that point, when you're in a battle station, you're at war.
Yeah. Okay.
So that could be what they're, because there's no way that a U.S. naval warship is going to sit out there for 9 hours. We'll take them out in a snap of a finger. Okay,
so now here's the last thing to put a bow on this. Nakona from Cedar Park and former Navy guy, and I'm really grateful for your call tonight. It's fantastic, and I look forward to more of these. But so you agree with me that this is fecklessness and that tonight's strike was a show for us. It did nothing. It was a political strike, and 5-6 days to let Iran and its proxies get out means that no one was hurt tonight.
Yeah. I mean, how embarrassing. Like I said, we probably knocked over a good 20-25 chicken pens and probably killed a good amount of chickens.
Well, listen, my respect for you is even much higher because your knowledge is extensive, and I find it a blessing, and I'm real grateful that people like you are listening and that people like you served. It tells me we're in safe hands, even when we have wussies in charge of this country and the planet that aren't running the planet the way it should be done. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Yeah. I heard you this morning on 550. You did an awesome job. Look forward to you getting back on that station. I heard you called in earlier, didn't you? I did. Now, are you Native American? Is that a Native American name? I am. Yeah. That's freaking awesome. Where are you from? A tribe in Oklahoma or what? Yeah, in Lawton, right up the road, not too far from me. That's awesome. Yeah, Wichita Falls, take 44 north right there. You the man. You are the man, brother. Right. We'll talk again, brother. Yes, keep it up. Great job on your end. Thank you, brother. That was awesome. Yeah, he called into a show I was filling for earlier in San Antonio. That was awesome. And that guy's awesome. And, it's so cool how you guys, whether it be Navy, Army, Air Force, as my Air Force veteran friend says, Cheer Force. And Marines. I mean, you guys have so many amazing things you do. And I know that you can't talk about classified stuff, but this is open source stuff in the media and reports. It's incredible what you guys do and the expertise you have. And every one of you, I richly admire and look up to you so much more when I hear about you talk about what you do and what you know. It's very impressive to me. And thank you. We can't do any of this stuff. And I can't do what I do without our cops, our military, all y'all. I'm so proud of you and so appreciate you so much. All right, we're going to get into the illegal invasion next. At 10:30, we're going to talk to Take Back Our Borders. The rally is tomorrow. It's at Dripping Springs. You can get to it tomorrow. I think it's at 5. I'll tweet out their info again on my Twitter feed. Follow me on Twitter if you're not. What's wrong with you? At Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show. CHRISKROK. That's CHRISKROK. And jump on now to talk about the illegal invasion. I want to hear from you about that as well, because we have just insanity with the illegals and the gang members and trafficking in them. All that's coming up next. It's Chris Crock on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. All right, what's going on with these illegals is beyond incredible. We're going to talk to the Take Back Our Borders convoy. You go to takebackoutborders.com. I'm going to double check that that's completely accurate. I've retweeted it a million times, but I'm going to double check it. And follow me on Twitter at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, CHRISKROK. And it's Take Back Our Border. TakeOurBorderBack.com. TakeOurBorderBack.com. And I'm looking at their website, takebackourborder.com, takeourborderback.com, takeourborderback.com, and I'm looking at the schedule and the dates. And tomorrow is it is California and San Ysidro, 11 to 9:11 Pacific time a.m., and then noon Mountain Standard Time to evening Arizona Yuma, and then the Eagle Pass rally is actually, it's 30 miles north of the border in Quemado, and that's 12 noon until evening. So it's going to be huge. And by the way, they are putting it on land, private land, not on public. So guess what? The FBI can't get in there and pretend like they're J6ers and try to foment the flames and such. But first of all, I want to tell you that, as you know, the illegals that Joe Biden let in, 8 of them are thugs that kicked our cops in the face, beat them while they were down, did a beat down on them. They were charged and released, and they were freed, and only one of them remains on bond. The rest of them fled, and they went to Catholic Charities. And Catholic, they lied, and they said, we're illegals, and we want to go to California. The Catholic Charities paid for their bus ticket to go to California, and they're going to Calexico, which is on the border with Mexico. They're going to go right back to Mexico, hang out for 6 months or a year. They're going to come back before Trump takes over, because they know at that point they're done. And those cops are never going to get them. And it's just disgusting and wicked what Joe Biden has brought into this country, and I've got more for you that's even more just really sick. New York City is now launching a $53 million program to give prepaid debit cards to Joe Biden's illegals to spend in bodegas. They must sign an affidavit promising to use only the card for food and baby supplies, which is not going to happen. With a family of 4, they're going to give them $1,000 a month. There's your welfare crap going to Joe's illegals. Also, it's so much, so many bad things going on with this, with the illegals. We have more stuff. The more than a dozen governors are coming to our border this weekend with Governor Abbott, and they're all going to go there. Tennessee's governor's coming, Bill Lee. South Dakota's governor, I believe DeSantis maybe. There's a whole bunch of them. They're going to stand with us, and that's good. And the Senate Hispanic Caucus are literally saying that the vigilante groups, they call it vigilante groups, and their hateful rhetoric and everything, and it's hate. And then you have the leftist, socialists, Marxists who are Texas congresspersons like Joaquin Castro in San Antonio, Jamie Raskin from Maryland, Veronica Escobar, she is a border congresswoman, a Democrat, and Greg Caesar, who's a liberal Democrat from Austin. And here's something they have a global project against hate and extremism expert. And Joaquin Castro says Republicans are undermining safety and risking escalation that could easily become deadly for asylum seekers and Border Patrol agents. They're stoking fear, resentment, and hate. See? We're J6ers. We're white supremacist Trumpers. Jimmy Raskin says it's extremism and anti-government propaganda and disinformation. Very much a part of the whole new insurrectionist philosophy. We're insurrectionists. What Yevgeny Prigozhin did in Russia is insurrection. Trying to overthrow the general in charge of Putin's army, military, and then shooting out 2 helicopters out of the sky and shooting out one of their warplanes, one of their advanced, very expensive, recently made warplanes in Russia, as they were 170 miles from being in downtown Moscow. He put tanks up around the capital to block them. That is an insurrection. January 6th was not an insurrection. It's a joke. Veronica Escobar says the Republican Party has not just embraced hatred and xenophobia, but they're preaching and promoting it. And then Rep. Cesar says from Austin says it's the Donald Trump playbook. So that is the kind of the background on the take back our borders takeourbordersback.com rally going on. You're going to hear from them in a moment. But those illegals are gone, and they've absconded with Catholic Charities. This is why I would never give a dime. I wouldn't give it. I ain't telling you what to do, but I'll tell you this: I ain't giving a dime to any church that is trafficking illegals and helping them escape. And part of the whole line to smuggle illegals in and human trafficking and unbeknownst to them, sex trafficking. This is just beyond insane. So I would never give money to any church that was doing this. Now I'm going to talk to a man named he's with the rally, and it's Mr. Poppy is his name, and we're going to talk to him coming up next on the Chris Crock Show. And he is in the middle of this convoy, what's going on, and what they've seen. In fact, you're going to hear him talk about how they believe it was feds or somebody like that was going around asking questions and demanding answers from them yesterday at one of the rallies. So I swear to you, they're trying to infiltrate and do a J6 thing. But by God's grace, they're doing it on private land in Texas. So the feds can't go there unless they have a warrant. They ain't welcome. And if anybody asks questions, they got military people there that are retired military. They're gonna kick them off the private property. So I think that's fantastic. All that's coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. I want to talk to Bruce Poppy here, who is with the Take Our Borders Back caravan, and this is very interesting. Hello, Bruce. How are you? First of all,
I'm fantastic. How are you, Chris?
I'm excellent, man. Where are you at right now?
I am personally in just outside of Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And are you headed anywhere, or is that where you're staying for the day for one of your gatherings?
I am, as soon as we're done here, I'm hitting the road. My final destination is Yuma, Arizona.
Okay.
For the event that's happening on Saturday.
Excellent. Now, here's what I got going on. I see Dripping Springs to Las Cruces. Were you in Dripping Springs yesterday for the big rally, big gathering?
I was there in spirit. I was driving from Dripping Springs to New Mexico, but I was in Dripping Springs the night before. I rode with the convoy from Jacksonville, Florida.
Excellent.
To Dripping Springs. I hail originally from Tampa, Florida. So I was in Dripping Springs the day before when we arrived in Dripping Springs, and it was a glorious sight.
Tell me, okay, a few things. Are you doing a long haul? You got a semi, or are you just in a truck here, or a car? What are you driving?
I'm just an RV. I'm a guy, just a normal average American. I'm not a trucker. I'm a friend of one of the organizers, one of the steering committee, asked me to come to Yuma to help him run the event because I have experience doing that stuff. So I was like, I'm all in. I'm 100%. I want to, be a part of, we the people standing up and making our voices heard.
Excellent, Bruce. A couple questions I have for you on this. By the way, there's been allegations that some of the caravan, is it 3 separate caravans or one, number one, and then number two, there's been some reports and allegations that it's a little bit sparse. Is that the fact, or is that not true? Because I don't know if you're in 3 different ones. It looked like it yesterday to me when I was looking online at takeourbordersback.com. That's takeourbordersback.com, your website for the caravan. What is your answer on that, on those 2 things? Is it sparse, or is it 3 different rallies? What's going on?
Well, there is one official convoy that started in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Yes.
And then made the route across to Texas, and we are having. There is 3 different events on Saturday.
That's
one
it.
in San Diego, California, one in Yuma, Arizona, and then one in Cumado, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's official. I mean, there's other people that are driving in from other places.
Right.
So, but those caravans or convoys aren't a part of the official.
Okay.
TakeOurBorderback.com. So, there's multiple people from different places are descending because there's a level of frustration here in the United States and the lack of attentiveness to we the people's wishes and the enforcement of the current laws on the books.
I'd even say it's a complete disregard of our wishes.
Yeah, I was trying
intentionally,
to
yeah. And they're labeling us insurrectionists now. Did you see that?
Yes, I mean that's all that there's tons of fake, phony, and false media narratives that they're trying to push. I've seen there was a couple of other I discount them. They're just left wing rags.
Yes.
I saw one headline that said right wing extremists armed heading to the border to take back our that's a bunch of crap. That's a bunch of garbage. We are a peaceful assembly. That's our entire intent and purpose. If people have any concerns about, attending any of these events, the only official place to get the proper information about what we are, who we are, our mission, our purpose, is all at takeourborderback.com. We're a peaceful assembly. We want to exercise our First Amendment rights of peaceful assembly and to redress our grievances with our government.
Is critical. Keep going.
And that this whole thing, the January 6th thing, people still have a lot of fear in that. That's, this is my own personal opinion, has nothing to do with the convoy, but I believe our government there, that was the setup, and they're using terrorist tactics to put fear and intimidation into we the people, that if we stand up, that we're going to get thrown in jail, and that's just not true. We have rights. There's due process. Don't want to get, too deep down the rabbit hole about what went on in D.C., but we have this right. We're a peaceful assembly. All our events are on private property. We have zero intention of going to the border itself. We're not going to be.
Executive Producer Elaine's telling me that you purposely are not going near the actual border. Like, what are you going to be, like a quarter mile away or something? I don't know, but that you're not doing that. You don't want to spark any funny business, but you're there to make a statement by having as many people out there and gathering to show how we reject what's happening to this country, and it's un-American and it's illegal, etc. I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but is that kind of where you're heading?
That's absolutely right. I mean, I don't know the distance that where our meeting places are on Saturday are from the actual border. I know Cumado is probably 30 or 40 miles away from Eagles Pass, and so. That's our intention. We're just a peaceful assembly. We want to have large numbers as possible. To use that as leverage against our local, state, and federal government civil servants. Right, the people that work for us. We the people. They're not our overlords. They work for us. So them being total disregard for the laws that are on the books. We don't need any new laws, to fix the situation. All I got to do is enforce the ones that are on the books.
Right. Now, yeah.
And then I go back to the second part of your other question of being sparse. I can tell you when we were traveling from Jacksonville, we had probably over 100 vehicles, just over 100, between 100, 125 vehicles.
Nice.
There was only two semi-trucks.
Right.
Most of the vehicles were just normal people in cars and vans, driving along with us.
Every one of those people matters. Long. Yeah, everybody. 3 miles long is great. Every one of those people matters. Just because you don't have a truck doesn't mean anything, or a semi. Now, so I've already talked to you about, you're aware that they're trying to brand you as insurrectionists, white supremacists, haters. It's in our news. 5 congressmen from Texas trying to pull this crap, Marxist, leftist ones. Now here I want to ask you this, because this is what I think. I do think that the FBI, the feds are embedded, they're going to be embedded, and they're going to hope to God they can whip something up. So my question for you is, do you think the FBI might be, or feds of some sort, might be embedding in you like they did in January 6th to try to set it up? I mean, they were grooming people to try to get them to wear militaristic stuff months before via social media, so directly. And so do you think the FBI and or feds might be embedding in you like J6 to try to create? Do you think they might be trying to create a J6? Do you think they're trying to foment one with this?
I think they would. Those type of people would hope that that's something that would happen. I can tell you, the steering committee, the people in charge, and the people that are putting on the events are completely aware. We have some pretty high level, ex-military type security within our team.
Good. Mm-hmm.
And so we're very aware of what's going, what the potentiality and what the narrative that they're trying to drive. But having our events, that's one of the reasons they decided to have the events on private property.
Right.
So we have
Kick 'em off,
more
right?
control. Yeah, we have more control. It's not like we're going, to the Capitol building in Austin, Texas. We're on private property.
Good job.
So, we have complete control over who comes in, who comes not. And if there's anybody that looks a little bit suspicious, they're going to be, watched or removed.
If you got a Ray Epps, you're going to throw them out, right? We need to go in the Capitol. Stand by. Stand by.
If there's anybody who's, comes along and says, hey, we need to go to the border, don't listen to that guy.
You're just going to throw them out, right?
Yeah, exactly. We've seen the playbook, right? We know the playbook. We know what they're, what
Can I hold you? Can I hold you? I want to hear you. Hold that thought. Don't let it go about the playbook and I want you to elaborate more on that, but can you hold? I don't want to rush that. Stand by, brother. When we come back, I want you to elaborate more on that, and I want to talk about your rally yesterday with 1,000 people. I think you were at it and all that. Coming up next, it's Chris Kroc talking to Bruce Poppy with the Take Back Our Borders, TakeOurBordersBack.com rally going on tomorrow. Tomorrow, all of them across the country. It's Chris Kroc talking to Bruce Poppy with the Take Back Our Borders, TakeOurBordersBack.com rally going on to support them and stand with them and with our governor and 25 other governors along with ours to say the invasion is wrong, unlawful, and un-American, needs to be stopped. Our people are what matters, not the world invading us, including gang members and horrible people like the Venezuelans who attacked our cops and have fled and were paid for by, unfortunately, the Catholic Church sent them on a bus. I heard about that this morning on Fake News CNN, and we're going to talk about that a little later. But going back to Bruce, thanks again, my brother, for joining us for a little bit more. So I told you to hold that thought so you could finish off on it, and we're talking about FBI might be embedding and other stuff like that. Go ahead and finish off with what you were saying.
Yeah, so we've seen what they did and understand what they did on January 6th. Mm-hmm. So we're aware of the playbook, and so we've taken extraordinary precautions to have eyes and understand what those situations are. That's why, like I said, we're having these rallies tomorrow on private property, so we have a lot more control over who, the ingress and egress of people. And so there's extraordinary measures in place to keep this all safe and peaceful. The people that want to label us also, white extremists. I mean, there's people from every walk, every creed, every color, every religion. This is a complete God thing.
Yeah.
It's all about we. It's we the people. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, the stuff that they're trying to put out there and label us.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care about how many
accurate.
people of color or different religions are with you. They have a narrative that they're wanting to push, and they won't do anything else. Have you seen, I mean, thankfully I saw CBS Austin, Ken's 5 from, of course, San Antonio as well, and others at the rally yesterday. And here in Texas, and I think it was great from what I saw, really. I saw that 1,000 people, according to CBS Austin, I believe it was, yesterday. And you had Palin. I don't know if it was in Quemada or if it was in Dripping Springs, but it was yesterday. And you had Ted Nugent, a Texan, of course, Sarah Palin, and 1,000 people. Tell me about that. I think you said you were at that one yesterday?
I was not personally there, but I was watching the live stream as I was driving because I had to get to Yuma to help with that event down there. But I was watching the live stream, and Ted Nugent was there. There was other international, military in bed type people. Michael Yan, who has been down there in the Darien Gap in Central America, documenting all of these big UN funded. Yeah, documenting the invasion, 100%. UN funded. Our government is funding it. And so this is a huge situation. I would suggest going to the Rumble or the official social medias, like I mentioned before. All the official, any other stuff you see out there in social media is not official unless it comes from takeourborderback.com. They got all of the X accounts, they got the Telegram account, they got the Rumble account, all listed there. Everything's open and transparent. So we're a peaceful assembly, getting together, exercising our constitutional rights. That's all it's about.
So there's 3 different caravans with the takeourborderback.com rally. Is that accurate?
There's 3 different rallies.
Rallies,
I would say, one of them is, and all the information about those rallies, where and when, is on the website.
Right.
San Ysidro, California, one in Yuma, Arizona, and the other in Quemado, Texas.
Right.
And those are all happening tomorrow. They'll be live streamed, on the Rumble channel.
And it's all at the same time, right? Okay, it's all at the same time, right? Tomorrow, just for everybody's edification?
The one in California is going to be starting a little earlier. They're starting at 9 a.m. California time. They're going to do a 2-hour rally there in California, and then they're jumping in cars and going to be joining us in Yuma, Arizona.
Nice.
So so they're going to be combining those two, and then we'll be running at the same time simultaneously. The one in Texas and the one in Arizona will be going up at the same time.
Last question for you, double question for you. It'll be quick. But what's the reception been like as you're traveling across the country? And I think that's like the main one I wanted to ask is that. What's the main reception been like as you travel?
You're breaking up a little bit. I've heard about the reception. What was the second part?
Yeah, what's your reception been like as you travel across the country?
The reception has been amazing. As we're driving along, there's many overpasses and rest stops, and on the side of the road, people out there honking horns, waving flags, cheering on as we're driving by. Every places that we stopped for gas, because there was like predetermined places that we were going to stop. There was massive amounts of people. I mean, when I say massive, there was probably 50 people at most of them when we arrived in Dripping Springs. Today's Friday, Wednesday night when we arrived in Dripping Springs. There was probably a couple hundred people there in Dripping Springs when we arrived. And like you said, there was close to or around 1,000 people at the pep rally last night. So we're expecting, because it's during the week and, the way that the system is set up, people still have to work and, make a living. So we're expecting a lot of people, maybe not join us in the actual convoy, to the location.
But at the rallies.
Correct.
Any confidence that the mainstream leftist media will cover this? Have they given you any indications that you're aware of?
There's been some. They're starting to come around because it's been hammering and countering the negative narrative. When I arrived here in New Mexico last night, there were some local guys here, and they seemed to have a positive. I talked to a couple of them, positive, asking questions and different things. So it's starting to shift, but I mean, the big ones, the Fox News, CNBC or NBC and CNN, MSNBC, all those whack jobs. They're still going to try to give out their CIA talking points.
What's amazing is the Fox News claims to be on our side, and I'm not saying they're not, but I haven't heard one thing out of it. And that, as of yesterday, I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I want to say I appreciate you. We all do. Every one of us does. The 1,000 people rally yesterday looked incredible in Dripping Springs, and I think it's just a wild success already, and I'm really grateful for you. And we all are all standing with you, and we're very happy for you. For some who can't make it, thank you, brother.